You're muted.
Welcome to today's episode of Taking Over. I was muted. I am Ol'Ed and Fries, and I am joined by my tag team partner, the one and only Astrid Pizarro. How you doing, Astrid?
I feel better now. How are you doing?
I'm afraid. I'm afraid of this enormously long card. I love how I get to be an NXT fan and say enormously long for a 7-match card. There are AEW fans that have to have 15, 20 matches and be up all night. And I'm sitting here going, 7 matches, it's too much for my NXT. 5 matches is what you get. Takeovers are 5 matches.
Not this time.
No, not this time. We got the voice, Joshua Joseph, jumping in saying, let's go. We got our friend Daphne in the Hot Seat podcast joining us. Hello, Daphne. We'll talk about you in a little while. We've also got Chris Best jumping in saying, good evening, everybody. We got Paris saying, I'm sorry, what is enormously large? We're not going to talk about that. And we got Mark Talks and Plays coming in saying, just want to chop in quickly, say hi to both of you, have an amazing show. NXT was great, and I'll see you all soon, but he needs bed. You need bed, and I have a feeling you might be right, Mark. We'll talk more about that later. Whew. It's been a busy week. We had the live... No, this is not Turnbuckle Talk. This is not Raw Watch Along.
No, this is what we do in this place.
She does Red Bull. I do water.
There you go.
I have to go get my my Rogue Energy after the show. I'm going to get my Rogue Energy ready for tomorrow morning.
You're actually going to need it for the weekend, so hold off on that.
Oh, I'm going to have something else for the weekend. Don't you worry about that. But we're here to go ahead and talk about tonight's episode of NXT. And you know what I'm going to talk about tonight's episode? I know the name of the show that I have up there is Great American Go Home. Because it was. But for once, it was really a go-home show.
Yeah.
Every match that needed to have storyline development to get to the next stage got storyline development. Yes, they're giving us one match that none of us want to see and doesn't have any build whatsoever, but everything else has build, has been properly built, and feels like a big deal.
Great.
So good job on NXT for nailing the go-home show style angle. I mean, we got to start at the top. We have Dom's big week put up as the first 5 minutes of the show. Yeah. Fucking enormous video package, as Parrish says. Enormously large. Yes, the 5-minute video package for Dom's big week, where he wins the North American title last Tuesday. And on Friday night, he's on SmackDown defending the title against Butch. Shawn Michaels even almost screwed that one up on SmackDown and almost said Pete Dunne. And then, of course, last night on Raw, if you watched the Raw Watch Along, you got to see our guys talk about Dominic Mysterio versus Sami Zayn. By the way, I happened to watch, thought it was a fantastic match. Really well done. But now, Dominic Mysterio's back, and he tries to talk. The crowd doesn't want to talk to him. The crowd doesn't want to listen to it. Ami tries to go ahead and get in there and talk. She's A+ from Ami. She was fantastic on the mic tonight. The best part is the crowd starts chanting about Dom and his stupid mullet, and his mullet's great, and the crowd keeps chanting, "Cut your mullet, cut your mullet." Fantastic work. By the way, this is the first time since Judgment Day's been here, and this is gonna be almost an indictment on the CWC. This is the first time NXT felt like NXT in a long time. It had, for the first time in a long time, the CWC had that Full Sail energy. And for those that think it's not a huge difference, remember, Full Sail did 300, 500 people at best.
I would say 300.
I would say they on a busy night they probably did around 350, 400 people in that building. This thing probably doesn't get more than 150. It's a small built venue for this show. Yeah. But it felt loud. It felt important. It didn't feel piped in. This crowd was ready for these two. Wesley comes out full of piss and vinegar. He's not happy about losing his championship. He wants a rematch, and he wants it tonight. they start going back and forth and like, somebody had to take that North American title from you. We needed a new North American champion. He's like, you know what? We do need a new North American champion tonight. Great job at him to turn that phrase around on them. I thought it was great. We then have Mustafa Ali come out. And Mustafa Ali goes ahead and he's like, Wes, I respect you. I love your heart, everything else. Dom, and he calls him Dum Dum. If I heard him correctly, he did not call him Dum Dum. I swear he called them Dum Dum. But Dum Dum, I have no respect for you. You stole everything. You stole your daddy's 619. You stole your other daddy's Frog Splash. You stole my opportunity at the NXT North American Championship. I will not let you steal anything else. Just fantastic work by Mustafa Ali here. Wes Lee starts piping up. The three of them go back and forth. Dom and more mommy agree to make it a triple threat match for the pay-per-view, which we all thought was coming. And we get what we think. We're going to get the triple threat. And Mustafa Ali goes to hit Dominic Mysterio, and Dom moves, and he hits Wes, and everything comes full circle. Wes Lee and Mustafa Ali are fighting. Dom's on the apron, laughing at them from the corner. Just fantastic. We got Chris Best saying, put it this way, I had to mute the TV because of the crowd so I could do turnbuckle talk. For once, it's not often that this crowd gets that loud. They're normally into it, but there was something like Astrid, you were part of that Full Sail crowd. Talk about the energy that used to be in that building for a Full Sail crowd.
Yeah, I feel like it was so rare to have any kind of silence, and if it was silent, it didn't last too long. So just like I'm definitely used to that kind of noise, and not only that, but we were kind of with the theme song that we had at that moment. We were always stomping on the bleachers with the theme song too. So that's another thing you always heard. So we always had something going on. Somebody would chant something, and everybody would just follow suit with it. So it was super rare that it was quiet. Super, super rare at this point.
Your thoughts on the triple threat about the Dominic Mysterio being the North American champion, everything surrounding this 1 week on.
The only thing I do want to highlight with him is that I like that he was in every single show, and I think it's great for the championship to like highlight it in that way. It's like if you want to see more Dominic in the championship ring, go watch NXT as well. And I feel like when you think about the marketing aspect, that's a great idea to do it with things like go have him across brands with different people, different matches, and just it elevates that championship there, and it also presents it to people that haven't or don't know about it, haven't seen it yet. Yeah, like you said, we already knew this triple threat was coming. There's just a confirmation for it. I definitely love that line from Ali. It's like you stole the frog step from one of your daddies and the 619 from the other one. Prices, and I love also how Wes came out like so fired up because it shows his passion for the title more than anything. Seeing how fired up he was, like, no, you're not talking to me that way. I'm the one talking now. I'm in charge here. And then not only that, but he even said he's like it was 269 days and it made me a better competitor. I put my heart and soul into that title, like the way he speaks about it, and that you can see that passion in him. And I really love to see that in his character tonight. It was chef's kiss.
I mean, that North American Championship, let's not remember that thing, the six-way ladder match when it was installed. And some of the biggest names in NXT have held that title. But it never felt special with any of them. When Ricochet had it, when Adam Cole had it, when Johnny Gargano had it, there was always something different. And then Mello got the title. And he made it, as he called it, the A Championship. Whether it was or it wasn't is point for argument. Mm-hmm. But he made it the A Championship because that's what he called it. And he went out there and he defended it like it was the NXT title. Yeah. And then Wes Lee got it after a couple bounce arounds with it. It ended up in Wes Lee's hands. And that man took on everybody and anybody and made that title feel special. And some people feel like he got cheated. You're supposed to feel that way. What do you expect? Dom's a criminal. I used it as an example to get Dara's comment back up there. But no, it's exactly what it is. You fell for the bait. Everybody bitching that Dominic Mysterio shouldn't be the champion, that it feels like it cuts Wesley's reign with no respect short. You're falling for what they want. They want you angry. They want you irritated. Now, fans sometimes get the wrong idea, but that's the beauty of a heel like Dominic Mysterio.
Mhm.
He cheated. He snuck in and got an opportunity that he didn't deserve. He won the title by dishonest means. He's most likely going to drop it in 6 days.
Yep.
I don't think there's any way he walks out of there with that championship. But he may have one of the best short reigns of any champion because he has put that title back on the map. And as some of these comments are saying, put himself further on the map. The voice
Mhm.
Joshua Joseph. It's truly amazing to see how big and how well of a wrestler and entertainer Dom has become.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He still has the most punchable face in wrestling, but this kid has done something extraordinary from being
Mhm.
just a person whose dad got him into the business to being part of storylines that make sense, and he feels like a legitimate heel. He has go home heat without having X Pac heat. And that's a rare feat in WWE these days.
Mhm.
Chris
Yeah.
Best has the people talk.
Yeah.
Barry Monkey. Dom is amazing. He's got something. He just looks so comfortable in the ring, playing that
Mhm.
role to perfection. Absolutely. The Dirty Dominic Judgment Day character has been such a revolutionary resurgence for him because he didn't
Yeah.
feel legitimate when he was with Ray, when he was a
Mhm.
babyface. It didn't fit. But like every good wrestler will tell you, Triple H has said it, Eddie Guerrero has said it, everybody says it. You never really know who you are until you get to be a heel.
Mhm.
Being a heel brings out a certain specialty in so many great wrestlers. And no, not every wrestler can be a great heel. Cora Jade, Rey Mysterio. To be honest, Rey Mysterio, one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, is an absolutely awful heel. Anybody who watched 2000s WCW and saw him as a filthy animal can tell you he's an awful,
Mhm.
awful heel. But he's one of the best baby faces to ever grace the World Wrestling Federation and WCW.
Yeah.
Dominic is well deserving of the North American title. Seeing that title outside of
Yep.
NXT is so cool.
That's true.
I also
Mhm.
love the conversation going on about why does Dominic get to have the title when Solo Sikoa had to give it up? The biggest reason, the
Mhm.
biggest reason they want eyes on NXT right now. Solo Sikoa was being brought up to get away from NXT, whereas
Mhm.
Dominic Mysterio was being brought to enhance NXT. So when Solo won it while he was part of the main roster and they took it away from him, it's because they didn't want to distract from the bloodline. Whereas now they're using this to enhance NXT and enhance the Judgment Day. If you have any thoughts, please jump in.
The other thing I was thinking of is just I get that part. Of just when you think about it storyline wise, it doesn't also not make sense when you one of them gets to keep it and not the other one. Obviously, we know the
I agree.
reason why, but it
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense. Like it's not consistent to put it like that. In other words, so that's the only part that I'm like, eh. The only part for me more than anything is just like when I saw the match that was scheduled between Wesley and Dominic, I never in my mind it crossed in any way, shape, or form that Dom was going to win that match. So I feel like it was also great in the marketing aspect too for that. It's just the surprise that it gave people, whether it's positive or negative, because people were watching the match expecting Wesley probably to retain, and then to get that surprise that Dominic won it. You know, you can't imagine all the social media buzz you're gonna get out of it, whether it's positive or negative. So for me, it's just like I'm happy that NXT is getting, to be highlighted in this way. It's just like to me, I'm still shocked that he won the match to begin with because I'm not over that part of it because in my mind there was no way that was gonna happen. I'm like I know with the momentum Judgment Day has, I kept thinking still just like it's not his time. I was just thinking that Wesley has such a great reign. I don't want it to end, and it's going great. And then Great American Bash is happening not too long after, so I doubt he's gonna drop it tonight just to have the pay per view later. So all those things running through my mind, I never thought Dom was gonna win it. So that's the only thing from my point of view. I'm still not over that because I still can't believe that happened.
To quote one of the smartest and dumbest minds in professional wrestling, Swerve him, bro. Oh, Vince Russo. We got Tony D'Angelo backstage talking to Mackenzie Mitchell with Stacks next to him. They're talking about how great last week went. They're talking about how it's going to go on Sunday when they're going to become the new tag team champions. In walks Bronco, Lima, and Lucien Price. And they're like, no, you guys might win on Sunday. Might win on Sunday. I love how these guys just keep sticking their nose where it don't belong. Like, what a perfect way to debut two heels. Heels. To continuously interrupt people and to make sure that they're sticking their nose in everybody's business. Tony D says, you know what? I need to knock off some of this prison rust. We're going to have a match tonight. And I'm like, cool, whatever. I can deal with that. That'll be a fun match.
Yep.
We finally, after about 20 minutes, get to the opening match. Something NXT does very rarely, which is take forever to get to a match.
Yep.
It's the Schism versus TrickMelo and Ilja Dragunov. I love this. This match, again, it wasn't the match that did anything special. It's the storytelling throughout the match that served so many masters. This match set up Ilja versus Carmelo Hayes. It set up a potential feud between Trick Williams and Ilja Dragunov. It put further into motion, and we'll talk about it later, Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. On top of that, it started to facilitate Joe Gacy versus whoever wins on Sunday. And then, if four things wasn't enough, the Creeds and the Dyad were also furthered in this match when the Creeds in their orange masks, or yellow masks, whatever color.
How's it orange? They're yellow.
Whatever. They're the stupid masks. I don't care. I'm all about the 4 roots, 1 tree. I don't need all the masked people. I just need my 4 roots.
You don't need the branches?
I don't need branches. I just need 4 roots, 1 tree. But the Dyad gets pulled off the apron, which leaves Joe Gacy by himself. Ilja Dragunov goes ahead and knocks him off. He goes ahead to do the top rope dive. Ilja moves. Ilja stumbles back into the corner. Melo tags himself in. Melo goes ahead and hits nothing but net for the 1, 2, 3. And Ilja and Trick and Carmelo win. No, we don't need roots. We don't need leaves. We don't need branches. We just need the tree and the roots. It's fine. It's just fine. We don't need all the other crap. It's fine. But no, during the match, setting up the Trick versus Ilja portion of the evening, Ilja Dragunov was doing his run around the ring and drop kick or headbutt. I honestly forget which it was. I know somebody says headbutt later on. I don't remember it being a headbutt. I thought it was a drop kick. Either way, Joe Gacy moved and it went right into Trick Williams, who goes right into the stairs. Melo's not happy during the match with that. The other thing I noticed during this match, and then I'm going to let Astrid talk, is the fact that throughout the match, every time Trick and Carmelo would do the flashy, like, extravagant, charismatic stuff, Ilja would be super pissed on the outside, yelling, screaming, angry face. He had grrr face every time they did anything entertaining. He did not like that. And I love that because he's not about the flash. He's not about the, the superfluous stuff. He's all about get in there, beat people down, and win the match. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. But just like you, I was thinking also, it's like the match didn't have anything that I could like highlight and like that was amazing and like when it comes to the moves. But I kept thinking, like you said, of the storytelling that happened within the match. We get Trick and Melo tagging themselves in back and forth with each other because they know each other so well. Not tagging Dragunov. He's the one that tags himself in the match to stay there. And once he's in the match, he stays there for a while as well, because of the confrontation they have with each other. So just like that, the body language, as you said, his facial expressions whenever they're in the ring, and you can tell Melo's like anxious to get in there. He's trying to get in there, but Dragunov is on the other side as well. And there's so many layers to the story happening within this match that's what I loved about it more than anything, especially like towards the that ending with the Trick and Dragunov part, and then the Creeds on the other side with Dyad, and there's like so much going on at the same time, and it just felt exactly what it needed to be. I knew that from the get go. Melo was not gonna get pinned, so I was like, either he pins somebody or is one of the other guys gets pinned. I knew Melo was not gonna get pinned, so seeing so many things going on at once, and it made me think back of what Mark had said for like what months now at this point, I guess. I will have to look back and see if I can remember what episode it was. But thinking about what he said of like Trick is the one that's gonna betray Melo when he loses. So this definitely like it definitely added to that tonight.
It's the week after the draft because it was Apollo Crews outside talking to Trick by himself. And that's the moment where he said that was the moment where he thought that they were starting the build to Trick turning on Melo. The other thing I love about this is none of this felt overbooked. All of this stuff happened. None of it felt out of place. It all felt like part of the match.
It made sense, yeah.
Yep. The tripping of the dyad was at a weird part right after the stuff with Trick and Ilja, so it was kind of like it wasn't out of place. It didn't deter from the match. It didn't do anything that would make anybody irritated. I really loved how well this all played off each other. Mm-hmm. We get the store footage teasing Roxanne attacking Blair Davenport in a gas station that we'll get more to later. We get Tiffany on screen talking about how great she is, which she is, about how she didn't tap out like I've been telling you all along. She just grazed the mat a couple times. She didn't tap out. I don't know what any of you guys are talking about. She didn't tap out. Absolutely. Great job, Tiffany, for explaining that to the unwashed masses who thought you tapped out. Great job. She talked about how gracious she is for giving the world what they want. Everybody wants this rematch, fine. And this criminal, Tia Hale, goes ahead and just assaults her to get the stipulation that she wanted. I mean, how dare Tia Hale? But after the Great American Bash, the universe will continue to revolve around Tiffany.
No.
We get Von Wagner. Oh.
Well, I was going to say, my favorite line of this, though, was when she goes, she's such a human energy drink. She could run from Florida to Texas.
Yep. She did say a couple nice things about Tia Hale, which I obviously decided not to put in there.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather spend more time talking about this. Von Wagner versus Javier Bernal. Poor Javi.
We love you, Javi. Rest in peace.
Javi, can you stop picking on Von Wagner, man? We want so much for you to do well, but if you keep picking on our boy Von, like, how can we root him as our man Von? Like, the story for Von has been so great. The crowd's cheering him when he comes to the ring. It took them a while, but they got there. They did remember that they... Did you notice at the beginning when his entrance started, nobody made any noise? And I was like, oh, God. Oh, no, they forgot they're supposed to cheer for Von. And there was just one guy in the crowd that was really loud, and everybody else remembered that we love Von. Dara's right. Javi, pick on someone your own size. Yes, poor Javi. He picked on Von Wagner. It didn't last long, and it didn't go well for Javier Bernal. He got beat pretty quick. And then, showing Von's change, he didn't put Javier Bernal through the table because he's a monster. No, the crowd was chanting for the table. How could Von turn down that wonderful crowd? They love him. They wanted to put him through a table. So he did. And then, in a split second that made me almost jump, and I bet it probably made this horror girl herself probably almost jump out. Braun Breaker goes ahead and spears the holy hell out of Von Wagner. And then tries to beat him up with a chair.
Yeah, the funny part about this, I forgot who was in commentary. It said Vaughn's name, and it almost sounded like Braun, and I thought, oh no, Braun's coming out. I don't know why I thought of that. And all of a sudden he comes out, and I was like, what? What did just It took me a moment to realize it was him, though. Unless I was like somebody speaking, I'm like, who's doing that to him? And then I was like, ew. And I was like, nice. The guys, their similar names, Von Braun. And then that's not gonna help me when we discuss the match later on. But yeah, I guess he is picking somebody against his own size, kind of, I guess.
Well, Braun is, but not Javi.
I know Braun is.
Big bad.
So maybe Javi will learn from that.
I don't think Javi learns from anything. Love you, Javi. You're great. Mello and Ilya are backstage, and Mello's trying to smooth things over with Ilya Dragunov because he doesn't. And I like that. He's like, look. Trick got a little crazy. I'm trying to keep him under control.
Hmm.
Just give us the and Ilya's like, I get it. Like he's mad, but we got a big win. Yada yada. Trick comes in. He don't give a shit about being polite. He don't give a shit about being professional. He comes in there. And I swear, Trick says that he's going to call him out next week. I
I
swear,
thought
Trick
so
said
too.
next week.
This
But
definitely
apparently,
didn't help me because in my mind I kept thinking, okay, the PLE is on Sunday, and I thought I heard him say next week, so I was like, then what's the point in that? I was like, and then I was like, wait, is there one more week before the show? And I was like, no, wait, because I remember being the 30, It just took me a moment between like what he said, and then I was like, I don't know, you lost me there. It happened.
yeah, it was weird. I don't know what happened there. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here while Ashley gets a sip. Do you have any thoughts before I go on my little rant here about the next segment?
On
Gable
wait, let me.
Steveson and his decision.
This is not what I wanted for Corbin. I'm out.
Yeah, so mini rant. This was stupid. I hated this. So Gable comes out and he, vaults and flaw. Oh, that's not the words I'm looking for. He talks about how great his amateur career was. And he talks about, I have 2 national championships. I won a gold medal. To which I instantly responded, but you didn't do it with a broken freaking neck. Because for some reason, anytime anybody talks about being a gold medalist, I instantly say, but you're not Kurt Angle, so you didn't do it with a broken freaking neck. Um, Gable says I could choose NXT. I could choose NXT. I could go away and do college and get a third national title. I'm like, yes, go to college, get a third national title. I could go to the Olympics in Paris and go ahead and get that. Yeah, go to Paris, become a 2-time gold medalist. Anything to get you out of the goddamn WWE. And then unfortunately, Baron Corbin has to come down. Baron, I love you, man. I never want to not hear from you, but dude, you could have waited a segment, let this idiot choose anything other than NXT. Um, I wish he could. Hopefully, somebody else will choose it for him someday. Anyways, that's the only thing we'll mention about that. Um, Baron Corbin comes out and says, you can go anywhere. Just don't come to NXT. Because if you do, I'll make you do the one thing you've never done fail. To which Gable Steveson suplexes him a few times, and we have Corbin versus Gable at the Great American Bash, which makes me sad.
Yep.
We have Dom helping Mommy stretch, where she tells him, "Don't worry." He asks if the triple threat idea was a good idea. She says, "Does any of Mommy's ideas a bad idea?" No, Dom. The answer to that question is no. If she says, "Do I ever have any bad ideas?" Look, I've been in relationships. I'm not in one now. Want to know why? Because I told her she didn't have good ideas. You always agree with Mommy. When Mommy says, "Didn't I say this was a good idea?" You answer with yes. Ashton, am I wrong?
Good job.
I mean, it is what it is, right? Like it's not an incorrect statement. But I like this. This was a fun little segment. It makes
Mhm.
Dom feel like the little sniveling heel that he is, and
Mhm.
makes Mommy just feel that much better. We then go ahead and get Dana versus Cora. I'm gonna let Asher talk about this match, but I'm gonna say one nice thing before I go. They worked hard. They tried really hard. Asher, you can go ahead.
I'll take that for now. No, it's just like I know the match was nothing out of the ordinary or anything like that I could highlight. But I feel like they had good chemistry tonight. I like how they had a good back and forth in here. The only part that bothered me was like I still don't like Cora's gimmick. So her going when she had Dana in the corner with the candlestick with her arms crossed like the way she did, and she goes ha ha, and then she just like knees her in the face. I was like, I could have done with that laugh in there because it just doesn't fit her, and I hated that. Um, but I love especially parts of like Kalani coming out with the candlestick pink and giving it to Dana for her to use it. Um, even the ending in itself, the way everything just happened, and I feel like it wrapped up very well. I just was expecting Cora to win because I feel like she's always winning lately for some reason. So I was very surprised that Dana won the match though, and then based on Cora's tweet after the show, she tweeted just goodbye. I wonder if we're gonna get some kind of tweaks, I guess, to her character, some kind of changes to it because she definitely needs it.
I think she's headed to the main roster, and I think that's a mistake.
Agreed.
I think bringing her to the main roster as a heel is a bad idea. I think bringing her to the main roster in any way, shape, or form right now is a bad idea. I think that there's a bright future for Cora Jade as a babyface. But I don't think bringing her up now is going to be anything good for her. But you never know. They might surprise you. We get Mello backstage with Trick Williams, and Trick says, I'm going to call him out. And Mello's like, you really shouldn't do this. Come on, we got to be professionals. We got to be better than this. I'm the champion. We can't be doing stuff like this. I got to do this. And he goes, oh, no, sorry. Yeah. And then, sorry. That was earlier on when we had the three of them there after Ilja walked away. Here's the segment where Mello is talking to Ilja, and he tells Ilja that Trick's going to call him out. And Ilja's like, that's fine. He's like, it's not going to be a match. And he's like, good. I don't want a match. I want to fight. And Mello's like, no, we can't do this. Like, come on. Let me calm down. Let me see if I can calm him down. And Ilja just plays it out flat. If he calls me out tonight, I'm going to break him. And then I'm going to break you on Sunday. And again, this feud hasn't been the most amazingly built feud. It hasn't. We'll be honest. But it's really good. All the storytelling beats have been there. And for a short built feud, it feels like it's been going for a while. And the respect angle doesn't feel undervalued or misplaced. Any thoughts on Ilja and Mello as of this point?
Yeah, my favorite part is just when he's like, if he calls me out, I'll just answer. I'm like, I love it. Just keep it that way. It was so simple, but it's still at the same time, it sounds so threatening coming from Dragon of all people. So I love it.
Speaking of people loving things and all kinds of wonderful love, Astrid got shown the love this week on Twitter when we put this clip on Twitter, and the Queen Zelina Vega herself went ahead and retweeted it. So we're going to show it to you in case you've missed it. This is from this Sunday's live Astrid Asks, where I interviewed Astrid. She's talking a little bit about backlash and a little bit more about representation. You've talked a lot about that, and you talk a lot about representation when it comes to the people who've inspired you and things going forward. You've talked at length and print and on camera about the joys and tears that backlash brought to you and the representation it helped foster. Do you have anything left to talk about that moment in that arena and that whole scene of WWE bringing a special show to Puerto Rico and having the talent that they had on the show be there?
I think it's just one of those moments that I'm glad I was watching it live as it was happening, because I thought it was one of those moments that I was tearing up, literally crying when Zelina was crying with her gear. And I thought my brother was going to make fun of me because he would definitely make fun of me when I'm crying. So I really thought he was going to make fun of me for it. But at the same time, he just kept watching it with me. He encouraged me. He's like, it's amazing to see this representation on screen. And, having that pay-per-view in Puerto Rico after not being there for so long, hearing how loud the crowd was from beginning to end, their energy didn't stop at all. And to get the Puerto Ricans there and have that representation, from Zelina to Savio Vega to Carlito and even Bad Bunny of all people at the end. But it's just amazing to be able to see them highlight those people because they knew they were in their home. Yeah, it just meant a lot. I think the only thing I wish it would have been, like I said, it was bittersweet because I definitely wish I would have been there in person. But at the same time, I feel like it's great to watch it at home and be able to watch it live and cry all my tears out, even though I still have more left to cry if I see it.
And remember, while it's not live anymore, it is still available on YouTube and Twitch for you to go ahead and check out the extended interview. It's about 50 minutes. It was a really fun time. We took some questions from the audience. I had a whole bunch of questions. It was a really good time. We have Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak backstage training. Damon Kemp comes up and he says, look, I'm looking for new training partners. I need training partners that are going to push me. You guys want training partners that have grit. And I'm like, oh, I heard the word grit. That means Edge is coming. You
No,
can't say grit anymore and not think of Edge. He's the grit couple. He's the grit man. I got worried.
that's true.
But apparently they're going to be a team now. So it's going to be the Diamond Mine 4.0.
Dang. But I like the again Miles was the one that Dempsey was working with before Gulak came in, and he actually said Miles on screen, like he said his name. And I like how Gulak comes in, he just, oh, these athletes are just built for speed and tough and not toughness, and that's about it. And all of a sudden I'm like, the way I saw from the camera, I couldn't tell who it was on the ropes. And I see that one, I'm like, who is that? And it took me a moment to realize it was Damon as they got him closer up. I was like, oh, okay. Not who I expected it to be. Hmm.
Yeah.
But
We get Lucien Prince and Bronco Nima taking on the D'Angelo family next with scripts on the outside. Um, I'll be honest, I missed a bit of the beginning of this match trying to understand what the fuck was going on between Vic Joseph, Booker T, and Reggie, and the whether or not to call him Scripps or call him Reggie. I don't understand what anything was that was going on. I don't understand if Scripps was mad at Vic for calling him Scripps. I don't know if he was mad at Booker T for calling him Reggie. I don't know why Booker T kept calling him Reggie when, if anybody, Booker T should have called them Scripps. I don't know. I don't get it. It's so
no,
stupid.
I think he said there was a part that he said something along the lines of, "Oh, he's not a man of the street, so you gotta call him Reggie." And I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? But just like that back and forth, and then I think it was what Booker said, like called him Reggie, that he went like that, and it just like it was so funny to watch it. I couldn't concentrate on the match because of the commentary on this one. I hated that, but I'm like, there was not. I felt like there was nothing really to highlight out of the match. My favorite part was obviously Axiom coming in there, kicking scripts as he did while he was on commentary. That's all I needed.
He just looked like a kid jumping around and assaulting another man. It's just unnatural. The one thing I'll say is I really liked, and I know we had some people who didn't like them last week. Bronco Nima and Lucien Price looked fantastic in this match. And not just when they were in there with Tony D'Angelo, but just like in general. They had a way longer match, obviously, but it was a much better match for them. It felt more complete. They can sell. They have a unique offense. The Viper like clothesline that Lucien Prince does, where he's on the ground, like chin almost on the mat, almost Randy Orton. You know, like how Randy Orton had like the
Mm,
hand pose. Like
yeah.
Lucien goes even further down, and he's way down at him. Um, but I really liked the two of them looked really good in this match. I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
D'Angelo family looked fine. Like I'm not trying to
mm,
take away from them, but this was a
mm,
showcase match for Lucien Prince and Bronco Nima, and if they can continue this level of ability, they could be tag team champions in the very near future. These guys,
mhm,
they feel like they fit in. They feel like they look good. I'm excited.
yeah.
We have Reggie Scripps. Who is that guy?
Nobody knows.
Oh, hold on. My audio has decided to come out of the wrong place. We're just going to go with it. Stop that youngster. Axiom! I feel like somebody else has a handshaking in the fist thing when watching television. Oh, we don't talk about that on here. Anyways, moving on. We have Dijak on screen, and he's not happy with Eddie Thorpe.
Yeah.
Very unhappy with Eddie Thorpe. He goes ahead and says that he put the boots to Eddie Thorpe because Eddie thought he could be a championship contender. But that's what
Mhm,
Dijak's going for. And if Eddie Thorpe's
mhm,
going to get in Dijak's way, he's going to find all kinds of justice and hard justice and all the other taglines that they have for Dijak. I don't know
mhm.
why he needs so many words. He can just go and beat people up. Why does he need so many goddamn words?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out too.
Dar Amazing said, I could see Bronco and Lucien holding tag team. Like I said, they need a little bit more. I want a little bit more time with them, but I don't think it's out of the question. They're much
Mhm.
further along than I thought they'd be at this time. Um, so I'm very excited to see what happens next for them
Yep.
and going forward. We finally get the gas station street fight, which I'm really glad the NXT cameras were there to catch this. Because God forbid they hadn't been, we would have had only the security footage and the camera footage from the
Mm-hmm.
two people in the thing. Also, I want to know how come Roxanne Perez gets to have a match where she gets to have a Weapons Wild match after assaulting a lady in public, to which the police show up and she just runs away. Not only is that assault, that's resisting arrest. How
Well,
do
she's
you?
ready for Booker. You can't deny that part. So there you go.
There's no defending this, Astrid. She's trouble. This Roxanne Perez is trouble. We can't have this. Please tell me
Oh
if my
well.
audio is off, anybody, because I can't hear myself out of my headset. I can only hear myself out of my speakers. So if there's any audio issues,
Okay.
no.
I can hear you.
The Supernova sessions come up, and there was a lot in this. Yeah, there's too many titles in NXT. I can't take this anymore either,
Well, it
Dar.
starts in the parking lot.
I mean, and it's not like it's not the first time. Like we had, who was it? It was who was it that assaulted Mandy Rose and trapped Toxic Attraction?
Wasn't it Cora?
It was Cora. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was Cora, but I wanted to make sure before I said it out loud.
Yeah,
We
she's the one
had
that kidnapped them and
Criminal
took them
Cora,
away.
yeah, Criminal Cora
Yeah.
first. Now we've got her former tag team partner Roxanne Perez. We got Dirty Dominic in here stealing things. We got Axiom assaulting people
And
every single
Tony.
season. Tony D'Angelo just got out of prison. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I
so many.
smell a pattern here.
Blair Davenport attacking people for nowhere, out of nowhere in that parking lot. I mean, let's be honest. At least it's not as bad as the Impact parking lot. I mean, Samoa Joe got kidnapped by ninjas. I mean, Santos Escobar may have had people stolen from the NXT parking lot, but at least it wasn't by ninjas.
Yeah.
But
Never.
no, the Supernova sessions happens, and so Lash Legend kept slipping in and out of a British accent, which I hated. Jakara Jackson was the best part of all of this because she was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Oro Mensa, who I think is British, but I feel like his accent is really put on, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like everything else was fine. Like they were talking about how he's the proper champion for the Heritage Cup champion, and they kept raising his hand, and the damn picture kept falling, and they kept having to try to grab it. It was really stupid. Then they present him with a cup. So now there's two cups, and I'm like, God, two cups. At least there's two girls instead of one. So many cups, so many girls. But anyways, Nathan Frazier comes out with Dragon Lee in his cup, and they go ahead and do verbal battle, talking about who's the real cup champion, and Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier propose a challenge. And they go, well, that's fine. There's four of us. There's two of you. And Dragon Lee goes, what made you think we'd come alone? And out come from behind Leon and Faraz. And they go ahead and take down the ladies, and the boys take down the boys. And now we're going to have on the kickoff an 8-person tag. Yay.
Now you gotta watch the kickoff.
About that. Two cups. Where are the Street Profits? They're sitting in the back of the limo with Bobby Lashley and potentially Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, depending on how you want to look at it. Astrid, I wanted you to go ahead and talk about the Thea Hale, as I call it, documentary video package.
I had a feeling that was gonna be me. No, I really love this. I don't want to call it video package, but I love the part of having Andre tell her story. It's like no, she used to go to independent shows with her family because she wasn't old enough to drive. And then it was great when she graduated and she put that Chase U cap on. And I love how we get in the background as he's talking all these moments that Thea has had since she started, going from being in NXT and then having that cap on and everybody cheering because she picked Chase U of all places, and then having her in the first couple classes to like, and then having Duke in the background is like, yeah, I take credit for it because if it wasn't for the MVP, like Thea wouldn't be who she is. And we believe in her. She can put that Kimura lock anytime she wants, and like she has the heart, and we shouldn't doubt her. And I love that part where Duke goes, if you doubt her, that's when moments at the battle royal happens, or moments like when gold rush happens, or last week when she won as well. And then she says, I don't need a miracle, I just need a chance to prove people wrong. I love her having kind of like that Rocky moment in front of the performance, and just like cheering and like being like that and having people on her shoulders and cheering her on. And then her saying, I know I can win. But I love the video package showing how she started up into where she is now, and even you seeing how she's been with the guys. And even I like how, even though it's the old one, I forgot the guy's name, the one that was
Oh,
in Chase U. Yeah, he was still in the old video package there too. But I love the detailing from like showing her growth in her character from beginning till now. Yeah, I think it was wonderfully done though.
I it was fine. It was creative. It was so incredibly creative. I love the idea that it feels like a 3 minute documentary. I don't think it was 3 minutes, but it feels like it was like a 3 minute documentary.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a video package per se because it's not filmed in the way that a video package is.
Yeah.
It had that documentary feeling. Um, I'd be interested to see how long the actual portions of this are. Like, how long did Andre Chase talk about? Like, what's the unedited version of this? I think there could be a lot of fun in seeing a lot more of that. I feel better this week that she's losing this match and that Tiffany's going to retain her title and all will be right with the world.
Are you sure?
No, I feel better. I don't know if I can bet on it, but I feel better. We get Los Cesarios fighting outside the PC last week, and we hear Humberto ask a very important question. And I love this because it frames everything, and I think it gives them a chance to come back together in the end. He goes ahead and he says, are we about chasing women, or are we about glory? And I'm like, I like that because it frames the argument for why he's upset. Humberto is mad because for a long time they've been chasing girls and doing that instead of going for titles and being great and doing all the wonderful things that come with that. So I really think that was an interesting way to take this storyline and to go ahead and do what happened here. Then we move on to the main event match of the evening, which was Rhea Ripley versus Lyra Valkyria, which got way more time than I thought it would. It feels like about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Lyra Valkyria has, dare I say, the best match she's ever had in NXT by leaps and bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that has a lot to do with her dance partner. Let's not make any bones about it. If she had had a bad match here with Rhea Ripley, she might as well have just walked away. Like, honestly, if she couldn't wrestle a good match with Rhea Ripley, she might as well have just walked away. But she doesn't have to, because she had a really good match with Rhea Ripley. I was vastly impressed. Astrid, go ahead and give us some notes on this match.
Yeah, what I love about it is like thinking before the match started out, I was talking to you, I was thinking, what was the best match that I've seen from Lyra? And it was Tiffany at that moment. And I kept thinking, I hope this one beats it to her because I want that for her, because I want more for Lyra. And I love how even setting up the match in itself, first having her on Raw challenge Rhea the way she did. She's like, if I want to know who I am, I have to go against you. And she's like, well, I didn't think of that of it that way, but that's a good idea. And even now, like the interview at the beginning of the show, she goes, it's been 7 months that I've been in NXT. I want to know where I stand, and what a better way to do it than going against Rhea, who's a measuring stick of WWE right now. And she said, I don't want to wait for my time and hide in the shadows like JC Jane. And I like that even though she's facing Rhea tonight, she's still connecting it back to what's happening with JC. It's like, I just want to be able to know where I stand in this division. And I didn't even take notes on the match because the match, I loved it from beginning to end. Definitely her best match right now. I just hope she continues on that momentum towards it too. I even like the part of like we have her diving in, and then I think Rhea moved and she hit Dominic in there. But she had a good back and forth with Rhea. Obviously, we know Rhea was going to win the match, but still, it was such a good showcase for her. She ended up looking great in her performance tonight against Rhea. I loved it. It was like there. I'm glad that the match happened the way it did.
Yeah, it was fantastic. After the match, we go ahead and get Rhea grabbing her by the two sides of the mouth and lifting her up and going, "Prove me right. Beat JC Jane."
Yep.
I have a feeling that the main event of next week's NXT is going to be JC Jane versus Lyra Valkyria.
Yep.
But after that, we went ahead and we got the listing of the matches that are going to be taking place at the Great American Bash. We have Nathan Frazier, Dragon Lee, Yulusa Leone, and Valentina Feroz versus Metaphor, made up of Noam Dar, Oro Mensa, Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson, in an 8-person mixed tag match. We have Dominic Mysterio in a triple threat match for the North American Championship against Mustafa Ali and Wes Lee. We have in a submission match Tiffany Stratton defending against Tia Hale. We have the NXT Tag Team Championship match, which is going to be Gallus, made up of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, versus the D'Angelo family of Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Baron Corbin versus Gable Steveson is on the main card. I really wish this was on the pre-show
Same.
because then I could skip the pre-show. And then we have in a Weapons Wild match, otherwise known as a Anything Goes match or an Extreme Rules match or any of those normal names, Blair Davenport versus the criminal, the assaulting and running away from the police, Roxanne Perez. And then, of course, we have in our main event, Carmelo Hayes defending the World Championship, the NXT title, with Trick Williams against Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah.
And you know what? I like talking about NXT. You like talking about NXT. You know somebody else who likes talking about NXT? Who we talked about NXT the Great American Bash last year. Ironically, the same match, the same show. We're bringing on this Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon, I should say. Steve from the SCW Wrestling Channel will be joining us as we go ahead and do our NXT Great American Bash preview show this Saturday, 2:30 Eastern. We are going to be having a wonderful time with Steve. Steve is a friend of the channel. We've been lucky enough to appear on many of his list videos. Ashton appeared on his preview show for the Backlash show. Like I said, last year we happened to be on the Great American Bash show with him last year going into the show. So I thought it was great that we got there on that. But you want to know what else is coming this week from Ol'Ed? Well, here it goes. So there we go. We have all of that to look forward to. We have our amazing jumping in here a little while ago saying, how about, hear me out, a double cup ladder match? God, that sounds like a bad idea. I would not want to have to try to lift one of those cups off of a run, off of
It's
that
true.
ladder thing. Those things look heavy as hell, man. I don't know if I want to lift one, let alone two of them. Sounds like a just recipe for distraction. Almost as bad as a 49ers match. And if you don't know what that is, check out our friend Jobbed Out. They have a wonderful story on the 49ers match. We then get the main event segment. Not the main event match. We already talked about the main event match. We get the main event segment where we have Trick Williams calls out Ilya Dragunov. Let's be frank, gets his ass whooped. Like, gets his ass properly whooped by Ilya
Yes.
Dragunov. Ilya does those two diving shots to the face. He does one where he's just standing over him and does it. He does another one where he goes all the way back and does it again. And he gets ready for the Moscow missile, but Carmelo Hayes goes ahead and takes the bullet for Trick Williams there. And I thought it was interesting. Ilya Dragunov says, Mello, I respect you. You have loyalty. Your friendship to Trick is all you're going to have left come after Sunday. And I went, no! Mello. Mello's going to have nothing. I have a real bad fear that Trick Williams is turning on Carmelo Hayes this weekend.
Yep. I don't like it.
But like I said to you and like I said to Parrish when we were talking about this while we were watching the end of the show, if anybody's got to beat Mello for the title this quickly, I want it to be Dragunov. The dude's got momentum. The dude's a star. It doesn't hurt Mello that much to lose to him this fast, as long as they have something good for him next.
Mm-hmm.
But I would hate for all the build for Mello, for this being the passing of the torch from Braun to Mello, to have it end in like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
This is his second premium live event since winning the title. Like,
Yep.
he's not been champion very long. He won it at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a fantastic show, though. There was nothing bad on this show, and that includes the fact that we had a Dana Brooke versus Cora Jade match. By the way, I let Astrid talk about that. We're clear. That's not how a kendo stick match works. So just so we're clear, a kendo stick match, because they brought up Bayley during the commentary of the match, she's like, I don't know who's going to win. Remember, Bayley's kendo stick match with Alexa Bliss, the kendo stick was hanging in the corner. They had one kendo stick that they got to use if they took it down. They did not have 50 kendo sticks around the side of the arena. Also, Vic was right. Booker T, you fucking idiot. You're not allowed to use a chair in a kendo stick match. Kendo stick. The only weapon allowed to be used is a kendo stick. Nothing else.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed too during this match. I think it was when Booker started talking about Dana's gear. Like, oh, look how great she looks. And then Vic goes, are you like just paying attention to their gears instead of paying attention to what their performances? And I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah. Vic definitely called out Booker for checking out Dana Brooke a little bit.
That one hurt me, and it wasn't even me saying it.
Also in this match, did anybody else get the flash of the black screen in this match?
Yep.
So I tend to assume that when I get a flash of black screen, it means that there's been a wardrobe malfunction. Mm-hmm. However, I've looked at the gears. I don't understand which gear would have given the wardrobe malfunction, because Dana's is fully encased. Like, the top of Dana's gear, where you would let's be honest, if you expect a wardrobe malfunction, is going to be up top, because neither of these girls wear gear that where that other side would be an issue. So you would think it would be up top, but neither gear was made in any way that would really be a possibility. So maybe it was just a freak issue with the TV screen. But as you know, you and I both know, 9 times out of 10, when a women's match has a black screen that goes in front and you don't lose audio, because remember, you can still hear commentary. So you didn't lose the footage.
That's the first thing I asked you. I was like, wardrobe malfunction? Did you get a black screen too? That's all I can think of.
And like I said, it's one of those things where you'd hate for it to be one of those things where you expect it to be that. But at the same time, you kind of have to, because that's what WWE typically does. What the schmeck? Hello. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate the first time chat. Hello. Tell us all about yourself and where you come from. Chris Perry says it wasn't a wardrobe, it was performance malfunction because Dana Brooke is awful. Normally, I would agree with you. Dana wasn't terrible in this match. She wasn't good. She'll never be good. But she wasn't terrible in this. Neither one of them were. They had a good time. The women excelled tonight. Like, think about this. We had the ending of the Dana Brooke Cora Jade feud. We had the 2 video package segments for Tiffany Stratton and for Tia Hale going into Sunday. We had the setup for Roxanne Perez and Blair Davenport with the street fight in the gas station. That's 4 women's segments on this show tonight. And all of them got decent time. The Cora Jade match was, what, 6-7 minutes maybe?
Yeah.
Decent time for the 2 of them. Rhea Ripley versus Lyra Valkyria had at least 10.
Yeah.
And then the video packages are probably, what, a minute and a half a piece?
Probably, yeah.
But they were decent video packages. Like, they weren't just thrown together 2-second video packages. Like, they meant something. Both of them recapped who they are.
Plus, we had Leon and Feroz with Metaphor, and that made also sense too, the way they were brought up.
Ed is clearly drinking on stream like me with that nonsense. No alcohol here, just great wrestling takes. But that brings us to the end of the show, and we are going to find out where we can find Astrid. So, Astrid, tell us where we can find you this weekend. Oh, I didn't fix that. Hold on. Go ahead.
You can find me, I don't know, for Friday, maybe we'll do Lottie Fashion Showcase, but on the weekend, like you mentioned with the graphic, we're going to have to see for our predictions. And then Sunday night, we'll be here for the post show for the Great American Bash. Other than that, you can find me on my social media, like it's there below. And then Sundays, you can see my NXT review on Women's Wrestling Talk.
You can go ahead and find me on the Twitter at EdFries12584, or X now as they're calling it. I don't know what they're calling it. You can't find me on no blue skies. I don't need no blue skies. You can't find me on my threads. I got my great shirt. I don't need no other ones. You can go ahead and find me on Twitch with all my gaming content at EdFries2002, where I will be posting Marvel Snap stuff, Midnight Sun stuff, WWE 2K23. We just got a brand new package from 2K23, so we'll probably go ahead and jump into some of that. All kinds of fun stuff. This weekend, we're going to need the Rogue Energy. Go to rogueenergy.com or scan that QR code right below Astrid to go ahead and get your Rogue Energy. It'll take you right to the website. If you want, go ahead and drop that promo code. We'll save you 10% off your order. Rogue Energy is a fantastic natural energy drink, less sugar, all kinds of less of those bad stuff that all the other energy drinks have in it. Rogue Energy is much better. It's better for you. Go ahead and get your Rogue Energy. I, as always, will tell you, get the watermelon.
Watermelon.
You say the watermelon like it's a bad thing, Astrid. Stop.
I didn't say anything.
No, I am not on X. I am just on Twitter. And whatever the new black X thing on Twitter means, I don't know. I don't follow much what happens on Twitter. I'm just there.
And you'll find Ed tomorrow on Marvel Talk too.
Yes, I did forget about that. Marvel Talk tomorrow, live. Astrid, are you going to be joining us on Marvel Talk?
Maybe.
We'll be having Boris, one of Andre's friends, joining us tomorrow. I forget where he's from. I really should know these things, but I don't. Sorry, Andre. I let you down. Oh, Parrish don't know. I should know. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and jump out of here. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging.